Hey everyone, Shawn Clement here, and a fantastic video coming to you from the Royal Quebec Golf Club in our beautiful indoor facility. And by the time you see this video, hopefully Mr. Tommy Fleetwood has brought home the victory. But I tell you, the round he started on Friday, today's Friday, and he starts off, gosh, 3-3-2. You know, and just vaults back into the lead. Just an amazing run. And hopefully he's still on a tear right now, and he's going to continue through the weekend and bring home the trophy on Sunday. And so here's the video I want to do with you today. How to be an incredible ball striker with your irons. And I've got a fantastic exercise right here for you. You find a downhill lie. And the first thing I want to explain is how to perform that downhill lie properly with the proper methodology, because this aspect of the game really truly isn't taught properly. So if we look at your gorgeous grass whip, and if my task was to simply cut grass along the slope, how would I set up? I would not set up with my shoulders in line with the slope, because we don't even set up with the shoulders in line with the slope on a flat lie. So if I tilt my shoulders with the slope, then I'm throwing myself completely off balance and I can't perform my task. So imagine I'm walking and cutting grass with my grass whip, and I'm doing my rows. Cut up the hill, down the hill. Cut up the hill, cut down the hill. So notice how I'm whipping through the grass uphill, then whipping the grass downhill, then uphill, then downhill. And you can see how amazing the brace is on that lead foot. So if you tend to lose your balance on your toes, or you get out in front of the ball, you will definitely lose your balance. But if you stay along the surface of the slope, so notice how my right shoulder is lower than my left shoulder, and now I'm just following the slope with my momentum. Gather up, whip through the slope down. And look at the end of that swing, how bolted I am on the inside of that lead leg. So you watch Tommy on the way through, and you really see how absolutely bolted he is at the end of the swing. Even though he's a little bit on his toes on the way through, he bolts it as he gets to the end. So he's counteracting that G-force in his swing extremely well. So these are dandelions in disguise. So you notice if I cut along the surface of the grass, you'll see that I'm not just cutting one strand of grass, I'm cutting a whole section of grass. So see how the blade is staying along the grass for a nice wide section, a solid 6 to 8 inches. So if I take my 9-iron, now a 9-iron has enough loft. By the way, this is a grass cutting tool as well. Leading edge has got to be sharp enough, and the bounce on the club is preventing it from digging with a nice little beveled sole. So I want to feel like the sole of the club is going to cut through the grass along the ground. So the first ball will end up flying over the second ball, and the club continues along the grass to cut through the second one. So I should be able to stay beautifully in balance on the inside of that left ankle all the way to the finish. It feels like the first ball is going to fly a little right of the second ball, and the second ball is going to fly straight. And what's actually going to happen is the first ball's flying straight and the second one's going to fly to the left, because the club is following its arc. It's collecting here, releasing there, and then it's collecting here and releasing there. So I see the dandelion stems in my mind. My eyes are actually on the grass between the leading edge of the club and the ball. And what my brain sees is the act of cutting through both dandelion stems down the slope. So I gather up and cut down the slope. Isn't that cool? So if you try to pause that at the right time, you'll see two balls flying off my club face. The club face is following the slope down, and it's collecting both dandelion stems, and both golf balls are being nailed right there in the center of that club face. So after a while, what you do is you put a ball down, and then you could put a broken tee bit at the front, and you want to feel like you're catching ball and broken tee, and then see if you can imagine that three-dimensional divot that's going to come out. Because as I come down, the first thing to get cut is the center of that dandelion stem, right in the middle of the dandelion. So I'm actually catching the ball first, then cutting the stem, then continuing along the grass, then catching the second ball, then cutting the stem. So let's have a look at that one more time. I see the dandelion stems. I'm getting ready to feel a nice effortless slash through both stems down the slope. Gather. Look at that. Look at how bolted I am at the end of my swing. So this keeps you down the slope. No more early extension. Fantastic drill for early extension. Fantastic drill for tonifying, for some good tone in that arm club unit. So that grip pressure has to be firm enough to get through both dandelion stems. So you're actually double compressing the golf ball. So that'll be very similar to the kind of grip pressure you'll have in thick rough. So when that ball needs to jump out of that thick rough, that's the kind of grip pressure you're going to need. This is your transfer case of energy from the body through the shaft into that club head. So holding it like a bird isn't going to cut it at all. So the grip pressure has nothing to do with the fluidity of the swing. It is the task that you're about to embark upon. So how do you want to cut through those dandelion stems? Do you want to shove through? Do you want to stick handle or guide through? Or do you want to whip through the stems? And that's what you'll love about, Tommy Fleetwood's action. It is zippy, like that shortstop, throwing that pitch with a nice succinct action into first base. So his action is definitely succinct and very, very pleasant to watch him perform his duties and his tasks. And just a beautiful golfer, beautiful ball striker, and looking forward to seeing him for many years to come. All the best. See you on Thursday with Golf WRX.